Hey guys, okay, got a little message from Spirit for you all that hopefully I can make it make sense. All right, so I want to talk about primal instinct right now because many of us who are awakening, especially I would say the Lyran connection, people who have that feline connection, also those who are serpentine, okay, very much connected to their kundalini energy, the dragons, okay. And they're, many people are connected to these beings but don't realize it yet. But I'm talking to the ones who are realizing, okay. So one thing that Spirit kept showing me this week, and it, my spirit guides have shown me this before, but it's hitting differently this week is the best way to put it. Okay, so they brought me back to this memory that I have of when my little one was a toddler and he couldn't talk yet. He could just, let me know how he was feeling really through his emotions. And I woke up one night, and this was before I would call my hard awakening. Okay, I was already psychic. I would already get messages. I would already see things. This was now about 12 years ago. But I didn't know why I was like this or why I was different or anything like that. Okay. Anyway, he woke me up in the night crying, and I went into his room to comfort him, and I was holding him, and he was just screaming, and I could feel 144 as I said this, that he was being spiritually attacked. And I didn't what's the right way to say it, Spirit? I didn't even have time to think about what happened. So yeah, this is the best way to say it. My primal instinct activated, and something within my body was activated, and I felt a sound frequency burst out of me. Literally it looked like energetically, it looked like when you see like an earthquake and all the land just starts to like this vibration of just like explosive energy, okay? And it all was triggered by his scream. He was screaming, so the frequency of his scream activated a primal instinct within me, okay? And so I'm rocking him, he's screaming, I'm trying to comfort him, and all of a sudden that scream, that high-pitched scream, something just exploded, right? When it happened, I saw the frequency ripple through the house. And just like you can see frequency rippling through the clouds right now, okay? Maybe the crowds too. Spirits is talking, taking over. So when that happened, the entire house cleared of spirit, okay? Like any darkness, any heavy frequencies, whatever the entity was that was trying to mess with him was literally obliterated out of the house, maybe even out of the subdivision, because it looked like a wave just hit the whole region as I saw it in the spirit, okay, in the ether. So then he instantly stops crying, like instantly, okay? All right, so I want to talk about that for a second because I feel like it's important for people to know, okay, that there is this something inside of you that is so primal, so old, so ancient, and wise. And when you need it, it's there, okay? And you may be going through your awakening. You may not have all the answers. You may not even know how to use all of your abilities. In fact, I know that we don't know how to use all of our abilities. All of us are learning, right? At different stages. But when it really matters, something will be activated in you. And it's as powerful as the sun, okay? And the earth. And really, any power in the universe, it's equal or greater because you have access to this with permission, okay? So it's like having authority and ability, all right? I guess whoever this message is for, it's going to make sense, but I want to talk about the primal instinct, okay, that we carry and why it's so important to connect with nature, okay? Because our superpower here, in my opinion, okay, from what I've seen from spirit, is to be one with nature, to remember the primal being inside of you, okay? Sorry, I had to help my baby. Okay, so when you say, okay, let's just take the dragons, for instance, okay? When you say that you are remembering your dragon tribe, okay? What you're doing, okay, whether you realize it or not, is remembering a resonance field of consciousness of the dragons, okay, that is always there and gets accessed when you're ready for it, okay? But with that access comes all the instinct of the dragons. You see, as I said that, oh my gosh, I have my little incense going in a big wave of just smoke just hit me, okay? With that instinct is primal wisdom, okay? And the beautiful thing about that is it will react instinctively to any threat. Now, where this should be helping us, this is the next thing I want to talk about, okay? Because what Spirit was showing me was what is your strength can also be your weakness, okay? So, many of us have been warriors in many lifetimes, okay? And many of us have survived great trauma in this lifetime. I know I have, okay? And so this is what I think the darkness wasn't counting on. This is our secret superpower, okay? Many of us have gone through such extreme hardship, okay? Whether it was sexual abuse, sexual trauma, not having food, not having shelter, not having support, being abandoned. You know, the list goes on and on. These hardships that we endured, many of us, through our childhood, okay, are actually our superpower because we know how to survive, okay? So as these challenges come your way and you're crossing different levels of growth in your spirit, I'm getting a release as I'm saying this. Sorry, you guys. You know what to do, okay, is my point. You know how to hustle. You know how to push. You know how to thrive no matter what, okay? Now, that is a superpower. Mary Magdalene right now talking about this. It can also be your weakness, though. When you're being called by the feminine to flow, okay? So if all you know is survival, how do you pivot into flow? Okay, so what she's showing me is that calibration. So you know that's the symbol of infinity. We see it different ways. Sometimes you'll see it positioned in the upright position, sometimes side by side, okay? And sometimes my guides will show it to me as a sacred four, right? All of it working together, okay? So sort of your north node, your high and your low, your light and your dark, and your yin and your yang going together. It's sort of that I'm seeing almost like a I'm going to call it a Knights Templar cross, but I don't know the proper name for it. I think it's a Gnostic cross. It's like even, okay? And that's the balanced being within you, okay? All right. So what you have to do is learn to embrace that there's this part of you that will survive no matter what. It will always survive. And that is so powerful, impacting, and constant. It's a constant truth. You can see that in your life. You're still here. You're still here despite everything. Okay? But that should also give you the reassurance to step over to the other side of flow. Okay? And it's yes, it requires trust, and it is a leap of faith, and it is the reason why you're the bridge between worlds, okay? It's the reason why the ether, the in-between, the sacred bridges, the Mary Magdalenes of this world, okay, this realm, are so important because we hold space between the two, okay? And we've learned how to master and calibrate in between, okay? Where the magic's going to come in my opinion, is when you can begin to see through your mind's eye and your heart what we're here to create first in the heart, and then it will start manifesting in the physical, okay? And this needs to happen on an individual basis in your life. As we do this as individuals, we begin to see this in the collective, okay? So everything being witnessed right now is a result of the individual work. For example, the exposure of all this abuse of children, okay? I want to touch on that for a second because I was sexually abused as a child by multiple men in my church, okay? And nothing was done, basically, just like what you're seeing around you right now. And what's interesting about this is why I have fiercely fought for my children, and I stand up for them against systems. Now, this is how we take our power back individually, by the way, okay? So they messed with the wrong woman when they messed with me. I can tell you that much, okay? And I know many of you are going to resonate with this, men and women, all of you. This is not just a female story, but it is the feminine truth, okay? That there was something being called in you to rise up and tell the truth, okay? One thing I've learned about men that hide sexual abuse, okay? And I don't know about women. It's so rare to hear of a woman sexually assaulting or abusing anyone. It's just not like, I mean, I guess it could happen, but and I know it has happened because I do know a few people who have been abused by women, but it's not common, okay? It's more common to see this in the masculine, sadly. And maybe it's because they've been abused for so long as well through their generations. You know, I'm sure that's a deeper story. But one thing I know from dealing with these men is there's so much power in just telling the story, okay? The moment you tell the story, they know, okay? Their own shame and their own fear and their own guilt actually self-destructs them. They actually begin to run and hide. And I'm reminded of a scripture in Revelation, I think it's in Revelation, where it says the people are running in the streets and they actually ask the mountains to please cover over them and hide them from what's coming. Okay? That's how desperate they are. That's how desperate this system is. That all it knows to do is try to point you in every other direction other than to see it. Right? Cover over me, please, mountains. Hide me from what's coming. Nobody's going to hide you from what's coming. What's coming is these women, okay, and these children are stepping up. They're not afraid. They came here to expose you, okay? That's what we came here for. We are the guardians of Earth. We are her protectors. We are her children, okay? We speak for truth. We speak in true resonance. Truth has a frequency, okay? And the more that frequency is spoken, okay, the more the shattering of the false matrix, okay? So that's why it's really important. Things like these videos that you may make, and I just watched one of a friend of mine, but like just saying what happened to you, okay? Like maybe a video about an experience that you had. You don't have to do this, but I'm using that as an example. But a moment to express yourself about something you've been through, and this is again a message for men and women, 1313 as I'm saying that. Every true human is sacred here. We're not throwing anybody out. We're not tossing anybody aside. All we're saying is that women have had to fight this fight for a really long time, you guys. Thousands of years. Thousands of years. And the men who loved us in those lifetimes and in this lifetime have fought alongside us. This has been really a shared struggle, but it's been more impacting on women and children, okay? And this is something the Christ consciousness taught me years ago when I asked him, what do you want me to say about some particular subject? I don't remember what it was. This was years ago. And he's like, Miranda, more than any oppression, more than any particular people or country or culture, women and children of every country, culture, ethnic background, women and children are the isn't I'm saying this, the lights are like sparkling. I can't even see straight, you guys. Oh my gosh, the angels are like, so yeah, okay. Like this is the feminine story. And I want to say something else about that. One thing God taught me about listening to the stories of those who have been oppressed, anybody's, okay? Understanding the stories of what enslavement was, of what oppression is, of what domination is. 444, as I said that, you know, that's the healing message, okay? Anytime a group of people come together as a collective to stand up against domination, whatever kind it is, okay? It doesn't matter how it shows its ugly head, whatever it is. Anytime an oppressed people, Native America, for example, okay, stand up and say no, okay, with or without the knowledge of everyone else, okay, and think of populations of people who are privileged. We all have some level of privilege in our life, okay, whether we realize it or not. Those people who maybe haven't struggled, who haven't been through oppression, who don't even know what you're talking about, whether they know it or not, when the underdog stands up, all are defended and protected. When you stand for righteousness, when you stand for justice, when you stand for truth, everyone benefits, okay? This is why supporting the rise of the feminine in whatever way that looks like in your life, and I do feel like it's going to be these little ways. I don't think it's going to be the bigger things are the manifestation. Let me rephrase. The bigger things we're seeing about justice for women and justice for children and justice in general are a reflection of the little battles that are happening inside your home that nobody sees, okay? Standing up for yourself, okay? In a way that just really proclaims your sovereignty as a being, okay? And this doesn't have to, again, this does not have to be women, okay? There can be men going through severe oppression. There can be men going through everything I'm talking about, okay? It's just, it has more commonly been a female story. But I don't want to exclude anybody because I really, really want all of you to experience empowerment and healing, okay? And once you do all that, okay, let's just put this together as a big message and go back to what Mother was teaching about the infinity, okay? Understanding your instinctive superpower, that you are always going to be defended and protected, even if you go through something hard, okay? Know that that part of you is always there, okay? But don't be afraid to step to the other side of how do I step into a life of ease for myself? How do I calm my central nervous system back down, my parasympathetic nervous system? How do I teach my body, 1717, as I said, that I am now safe here and that I'm awake and then I speak up for myself. I defend myself and others around me. Now, it's not my job to defend others around me, right? It's not your job to fight everybody's battles. I'm not saying that. But when you rise to your own power and stand up for yourself, the natural result is others will follow. And I'm being reminded again of the study of 100 monkeys. You can look it up. Because we are, in our DNA, connected to primates, okay? So we carry some similarities, right? But you can, because we carry that DNA, you can look at the study and kind of understand humanity at the same time, okay? But the study of 100 monkeys basically showed that any new trick they taught a monkey, when 100 monkeys learned it, all the monkeys learned it, okay? So that's going to get into quantum physics, okay? The quantum field and the interconnectedness of all beings, okay? If everything in the universe started as one photonic molecule of light, particle really is a better word, and it split into what we see now, the Big Bang Theory. Let's just use the Big Bang Theory, okay? Then it all originated as one particle of light. Which means when that particle of light is stimulated by any of its particles that have gone everywhere, they all move at the same time. And I recently saw this post. I don't even know who did it, or I would give her credit, but she was talking about how the whole universe moves like this big stingray through the cosmos, and all the stars with all their cities are like star cities, like little domes of star cities. It was a beautiful explanation. And you could tell she was getting a download from God, which was so amazing. But if you think of it like that, and we're all this cosmic, like stingray, just moving through the galaxy of all this matter, dark matter, okay? And when one little photon says, I am free to do what I want, you don't control me, and starts singing its own little tune, they all start to sing the tune. The collective has always been so powerful. We know this, but the bigger question would be, why haven't we mastered it yet? And this is what I was telling my husband this week. I was like, this is what every person on the planet should be asking. especially religious people, because they're so stuck in it, right? They're so stuck in the religion. I was there too. And it's like, okay, but if the religion had the truth, things wouldn't be this way. It doesn't have the truth. There's a cover up, right? There's entanglement, there's weeds, there's lies, there's all those things. There's fragments of truth there, but not the whole story. So this is what should be making people want to grow and go deeper, right? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Do your own work. 2020 vision. I just saw 2020. And when you do, the photonic light that you are at your base level, you are pure light, okay, will vibrate others' light without you having to do anything other than heal yourself, okay? Turn inward. Let me tell you something. It's really easy to stand up for other people and fight someone else's battles. And I'm not saying that doesn't take courage. It does. I've stood up for people. I've stood up against bullies. I've spoken up all my life. But it's easier to do that than to stand up for yourself. It's more personal. There's more fear involved. There's more deep-seated feelings, okay? I'm seeing all the angelic light again. So if it ever looks like I'm not looking at you guys, that's because when a message is powerful, they'll flood me with light, okay? So standing up for yourself takes more courage. It just does. Because there's a little child within you that deserves that and hasn't ever had it. And when you liberate that child, yeah, you go primal, you go instinctive, and the flow begins to happen. Does that make sense? And you unlock the keys to your rise. And, there's another message. I may have, if I have time, I'll make it today. Okay. But if not, it may have to be for another day. But it just talks about, the year of the horse and what my guides keep telling me about it. So if I get time, I'll make y'all another little message. But I just want to talk about, really embracing that when I say there is a star being, universal power in your bones, okay, and in every cell in your body, and that can literally work like pure plasma, because I saw it happen when I protected my son from that entity. And I protected him without any knowledge of how I could do it. My body just did it. Boom. Right? That being is always with you, which means you are safe. So when you're having an experience that doesn't feel safe, okay, go into the other side and look at why, what needs pivoting, what needs changing, and begin to take the steps to liberate yourself from anything that doesn't feel safe, or explore why it doesn't feel safe, okay? This is also why I'll add, and I try to always add this in my videos, to get support if you need it. Having a therapist can be very helpful if you're healing deep trauma, okay? Hypnotherapy, like what I do, but also talk therapy, and just, or just a friend, if you have a friend that can listen, okay? You don't have to do everything alone. But, so if you need support, ask for it, and reach out for it. But it can be done alone. A lot of my work has been done alone. I do a lot of my own healing work. I prefer, I'm sure that's the Scorpio in me. I just like to go in my cave and do my work, But when you need help, it's okay to ask for help and get the support you need, okay? But just know that there is a powerful light being inside of you that can fry somebody's tail if it needs to, okay? I'm just letting you know I've seen it happen, okay? In my own body, protecting my children, doing nothing. But this other side of you, the softness, the flow, the person that has already ascended and is like safe and happy and has everything they need, that person is there too. And the two become one and work together. That fierce, powerful, instinctive warrior with that beautiful, creative, instinctive flow. Okay? So we're calibrating that right now is what I'm feeling energetically. I hope this message is going to make sense for those who need it. Okay? And I really also want to emphasize again, this is why when you witness the darkness, just don't get stuck in it. All we've been called to do is witness it. Grieve if you need to grieve when you see something that really bothers you, but keep moving, okay? Don't get stuck in it. That's where the entrapment or the entanglement is, when you get stuck in the rabbit hole, okay? If you got to witness something, witness it, but then keep going. Does that make sense? All right. I hope this message helps. I love you guys so much.